This is Nithin Ramachandra from the NR Sports Show. This is episode 917. We are live on Spreaker, iHeartRadio, and Spotify right now, and I'm joined by a really special guest. His name is Travaris Cadet. He's a former NFL wide receiver slash running back. He's from Florida, West Little River, Florida, and he went to Appalachian State for college. And he played for the Saints, Patriots, 49ers, Saints again, the Jets, and the Bills, Panthers. He had a great career, and now he helps out the youth. He's a coach. We'll get to all of that and obviously his career and what he's doing now. And first of all, Travaris, I just want to say thank you for joining the show. A big shout out to your PR person for setting this up and looking forward to this. And how are you and your family doing today?
We good, man. We good. Just maintaining, man, taking it one day at a time and, keeping it all in perspective.
Yeah, so I want to start off with your childhood growing up and obviously being from Miami, Florida. What was it like growing up there as a kid? And when did you realize to yourself that you wanted to get into the game of football? And who was your role model for that?
Well, growing up in Miami, the streets of Miami taught me a lot. I mean, it taught you how to embrace the process. It taught me personally not to look too far ahead. You know what I mean? I had pretty much a strong family. I had a strong mother, single mother. I watched her fight pretty much every day to, keep food on the table, roof over my head. I started playing the game when I was about 5 years old. I say when I was around 7 or 8, I really took told to this is something I wanted to do. And then being from Florida, but the competitive edge down here in terms of how serious we take sports young, how our, whoever your guardian is, whether that's your mother, your father, your auntie, your uncle, whoever, your cousin, whoever that may be, they engrave that seriousness inside of you, because it's a lot of pressure put on you young, you know what I'm saying, to get your family out of those, those hard environments, growing up in Miami, seeing drugs, prostitution, killing, hood, beefing and different things like that. So you wanted to, my main thing was to always, find something positive out of every negative situation, right? Well, like the streets of Miami it taught me certain things that the classroom can't teach me. And that just knowledge and sometimes we're guilty by association. So, the company you keep, what I'm saying? Really,
Right.
If I look at somebody's, company and their crowd, I can tell you, I can make a prediction on how far they will go in life. So I think, just the obstacles of my father not being in my life, what I'm saying, and being absent and me having to teach myself how to be a man. I had 2 cousins that was, pretty much sports fanatics too. Bar and Jamal, who pretty much helped me a lot along the way, along with my mother and also my uncle, Jerome. He was kind of like that father figure, what I'm saying, in my life in terms that told me the truth. I mean, he wasn't very hands-on because he was at work most of the times, but he was supportive. And then my kind of like my brother, DeLeon, he was a guy that, who I battled with, whether it was in basketball, whether it was in football or whatnot. And we just didn't understand back then how much that prepared us, for our near future or whatnot, and how, beneficial we were to one another. You know what I'm saying? Also finding God, man, along the way, what I'm saying? Without him, I have no faith, I have no breath, what I'm saying? I have no direction. So I think as I began to mature as a young man, what I'm saying, and life really started to make more sense or whatnot in terms of direction. I know football was a tool that taught me how to, it taught me how to deal with ups and downs. It taught me how to deal with uncertain situations. It taught me how to be able to take a hit and keep moving. It taught me how to, get knocked down 100 and get up 101 times. You know what I mean? So for the most part, it's a tool that really teaches. Like Michael Jordan says, it's a tool that really teaches, right? And then, along the way, you just, you keep working on your fundamentals, working on your mental capacity, and you keep drilling this hole in the wall. You know what I'm saying? And not now, I wouldn't necessarily say drilling in the wall. I would say screwing, because it take time. It take time. It's a marathon. So, and then me meeting great coaches along the way, like Coach Keon, Coach Heidelberg. A lot of cats that believed in me when I didn't believe in myself. You know, and just being brought up in an environment in Dade County, where like, sports is year round. We have year round sunshine. So we have that competitive edge over a lot of those other kids in those northern states.
Wow. Yeah. So for you, what was it like? Obviously, seeing your mom work hard every day, being a single mother, and for you to make her proud, getting to your goal to play football, playing in the NFL and college, and how tough is it for you guys seeing her being a single mother and work and having her own job and doing everything in the house, and what was it like seeing that and just making her proud at the end of the day?
I mean, I just use it as a motivational tool every day to move forward. You know what I'm saying? I had more to fight for. Like when I felt like it was the life got too hard, or I couldn't tough certain things out. You know what I'm saying? I also had a strong grandmother, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? I watched her, be that backbone. Like when we got in the rut, you know what I'm saying? She was there to pretty much like get us out. Yeah, we wasn't living like the Joneses. Yeah, we was living in the gutter. Yeah, we was living in the hood. But I mean, she did the best she possibly can. And I'm the type of person, I would get down to the root cause of a problem, like the tradition, the foundation of why we're struggling. You know what I mean? So I know, like, far as when I got older, I know, I was, I wanted to do something, what I wanted to do outside of football. I knew I wanted to be free. I'm a free spirit type person. So, like, I know the business world was something that I'll be passionate to when I got done, you know what I'm saying, playing ball or whatnot. But for the most part, like, I'm not done playing ball as of yet. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? I'm kind of on my ending phase. As an opportunity come, I'll be ready. But for the most part, it was definitely a source of motivation to not necessarily just finances is important. Like people could say money isn't everything, but we can't live without it. We need it, you know what I'm saying, to provide for our families, for our kids, etc. But I think it's more so about being free and being able to enjoy like the nature that God has blessed us to see and to be around and to touch, you know what I mean? And with encountering like, you know, the stuff that you see in the hood, the deaths, like people that you close to that's dying, you know what I'm saying, who chose a different life. You know what I'm saying? It's like sometimes like, a split second decision can take your whole life, can take your freedom away. And I wanted to do something positive and put it into the game of football and allow that to open doors for me.
Hmm. Yeah, I'm going to ask you about your possible return later on, but I'm going to put it out there right now. All NFL teams who's looking for a wide receiver or running back, go call Travaris Cadet. He's available. So,
Without a doubt, without a doubt.
so yeah, but I'm going to ask you about that later on again. But I want to ask you now. In this, obviously, today's NFL it has changed a lot because a lot of teams love these. I call you like a Swiss Army knife kind of player, where obviously wide receiver, running back, and you see players like Cordell Patterson doing it. Devin Hester used to do it, and we had Dexter McCluster on the show too. So he was another like a Swiss Army kind of guy. So what do you like about for you growing up as a player and for you to be able to play two positions at the same time? What's that like for you versus being versatile and helping teams in other ways like the other names I just mentioned, like you?
I mean, value wise, it brings a tremendous amount of value, you know what I mean, to your body of work, because you can do so many different things where they need, whether they can go sign one guy or whether it was in college and in high school, you could be that jack of all trades. You could be that guy they can put at receiver, that guy they could put at running back, wildcat quarterback, punt kick return. So and you kind of give, defensive coordinators nightmares, but also it makes coaches' jobs easier, in terms of like far as like, okay, maybe we don't have to get this extra running back because we got this guy who can fit in. Like you see
Right.
with Cordell Patterson, what he's doing in Atlanta. I played in New Orleans, 6 years. I never seen Atlanta have like a weapon
Mm-hmm.
like that. Devontae Freeman, it was good. Like he
Yeah.
was real good. You know what I'm saying? And he handled his business. Him and Coleman, but like Cordell Patterson is like one of those hybrid guys that you gotta account for. Like you gotta know where he's at all given time. Like at
Yeah.
any given time, he can break out, and it could be from different ways. I think I was watching the game last week. He had ran like a post route,
Hmm.
from the right receiver position or a seam, something to where like you see him make plays from the outside, you see him make plays on kick return, you see him make plays at running back. Like how do you adjust? It kind of it kills the defensive coordinator's game plan because you have to be tailored to that one specific player. Now understanding you got 10 other players you have to worry about. You know what I mean? So like for me, I always growing up, I mean, I played quarterback a good part of my life, right? Quarterback gave me the tools. It taught me timing. Like it taught me how plays develop. You know what I mean? The timing of like routes, like runs, and like when to call a run, like what route combination would be to defeat this coverage, right? So like from a quarterback perspective, when I got to other positions, it slowed the game down for me because of
Right.
the simple fact that okay, I know they in cover three, all right, I know the weakness is underneath, right? I know we got a guy in the flat that's running to the flat, we can occupy him with maybe a flat and get around him. So like cover two, like the middle of the field is wide open. So it's certain things and there's certain route combinations that can defeat that. And also I know what's weak versus that. So like being able to go from that position to becoming a wide receiver, and then late in my college career moving to running back, I pretty
Mhm.
much had all the key components I need for all the ingredients. It's kind of like you're gonna have all the ingredients before you put the food in the oven or however you're gonna prepare it.
Right.
So like being able to play all those different positions, I seen it from a different perspective through a clear eye view. You know what I mean? And then when I got to the league, I started playing more special teams and the timing of returns and different things like that. So I think in today's game, I think if you're a young player coming up, like try to tailor your game to like behind some of these guys that are complete, like myself, like people you saw like Sproles,
Yeah.
Cordell Patterson now. Pretty much a lot of those guys that were complete players, Jamal Charles,
Mm-hmm.
Chris Johnson, like Josh Cribbs was another guy who
That's
I watched,
good. Yep. Mm-hmm.
right? Who was dominant and who kind of changed the game a little bit. So for certain players back in the days, they didn't value that skill set as much as they value it now. You know what I'm saying? Because now you can't run. You got to have linebackers that can run, linebackers that can move or whatnot, and you got to be able to be versatile. You know what I mean? Because if you just have these big linebackers who can't run, they only just run stoppers. They're gonna have a hard time out there with a guy that's a hybrid.
Hmm. Yeah. So for you, speaking of college, obviously you went to Appalachian State. How many offers did you get before choosing Appalachian State? And did they? I'm just curious. Did the colleges recruit you as a quarterback and first, and then or just a running back and wide receiver when they recruited you guys when they recruited you?
Well, out of high school, I didn't go straight to Appalachian State. What I did was I ended up going to Toledo first. So I actually played quarterback. I was a dual threat quarterback. So on Rivals, people you probably know, me, Cam Newton, Tyrod Taylor, all of us was like top rated dual threat quarterbacks coming out. And I had two friends, I had two homies I had played ball with since I was like 6 years old. We wanted to go to school together. So like I had offers from Tennessee, Florida, South Florida, University of Minnesota, Toledo, um, different schools. I had multiple offers, but we couldn't find that match. Because if I would have went back, I probably either went to either Tennessee. If I'd known I was going to be an athlete, because come out of high school, I wanted to play quarterback, right? So when I went to Florida, I seen they had Tebow, they had Cam Newton hadn't even got there yet. They had Chris Lee.
Mhm.
And I just didn't really see, I didn't think that it was a legitimate chance that, because I knew how much they loved Tebow in Florida. Like it was gonna be hard. Like even for Cam Newton. Cam Newton's a great player, but he went there and it was kind of like, hard for him, in terms of that, because they were so big on Tebow. So sometimes, we live and we learn situations, we go places. It's like I went to Toledo not really wanting to go there. I went there more so for my two teammates, and we were so egoed and so confident at the time. So we was like, hey, we can go make this program a powerhouse, you know what I'm saying? Bringing like some Florida flavor, to that atmosphere, because Toledo pretty much had a pretty good program, but we was thinking of just like knocking it out of the park because we knew we had the ability to do so. So my two teammates, Gordon Warner and Kenneth Spiggum, we went up there together, but obviously we didn't stay long. I ended up going to junior college in Mississippi. And then from there, I believe if I didn't go to Mississippi, I would have made it to the league, because at that particular point in time, I think God put me in a place where I had so much time to focus on myself, me as a person, like my strengths, my weaknesses. It allowed me to get all the excuses I had out of my life. You know what I mean? I met people, in Mississippi who lost their whole families during Hurricane Katrina, like lost their whole families. And here I am complaining about, what I'm going through as a college kid, you know what I'm saying, from the hood. But it just gave me more ambition, and it gave me more fire, because I'm like, man, I'm meeting these people who in tears, they really have something to cry about, like losing their whole family and their households during a storm. You know what I mean? Like it's crazy how yesterday your life could be so different from today. And like just seeing that fight and meeting a lot of great people along the way, man. Like Tim Hatton, my coach, he benched me in college, you know what I'm saying? And it really, I love the game so much, it really made me analyze myself and my situation and where I was at that particular point in time. So I think that, like, for a lot of players and a lot of people out there, like sometimes in life, it's okay to be lost. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? It's okay to be lost, because like in those stages, what you do, those principles you develop like during that time, and like the person, it's more so the end goal. We know what the end goal is. We want the end goal, but it's more so the person you become during those trials and during those errors, right? Like, because I mean, I was in a weird headspace, man, but I just stayed working, in Mississippi. Like, you couldn't go nowhere. It was country. Like, I didn't have money. I was pretty much broke, right? And hey, my junior college coaches, he was talking about sending me home, you know what I mean? Because I wasn't producing to the level that he wanted me to produce. So I think for the most part, man, it was like something I needed, because when I did get to App State, I was on a whole nother level mentally and physically. And I was ready to take my game to the next level.
Well, yeah. So this is a two-part question, and tell our fans, what did you learn from that benching and when the coach benched you? What did you learn from that as a player? And the next part, tell us, how tough is it for you not getting drafted, but obviously you got the opportunity to play with the Saints first in your career. So, but take us through that college experience, and what did you learn as when the coach benched you?
I mean, it has made me, it made me look harder into myself, as a person, as an athlete. At one point in time, I was, pointing the finger. I was a guy that was pointing the finger or whatnot, saying that, hey, it's because of him or her or whatever the case may be. I think when I actually started to see growth is when I started to take, responsibility in my own actions, saying I'm no person that got me in this situation. So when you can point the finger at yourself and you become open and you have a good mental map to think for yourself a little bit and to understand and analyze, and I obviously take knowledge and heed from guys like Larry Wiggum. Like, he was one of my coaches I was in junior college with, and he had played in the league. When he first picked me up from the airport, he was a guy I kind of looked up to. I'm like, because he had already been there, he already been there, done that, what I'm saying, 10 times over. So having guys like that kind of like, put words in my head, words of encouragement and different things like that. But I feel like I was in a storm, you know what I'm saying? I feel like I was in a storm. I feel like everything was falling apart. I was coming home and like I came home to the struggle, like just, seeing my mama continuously struggle, like, watch my grandmother, my uncle, like just wanting to be able to help, the people you love. But at that particular point in time, I couldn't really do much because of my circumstance. But I told myself, well, this day moving forward, I can do what I need to do, you know what I'm saying, step by step, day by day, and work my tail off in the weight room, be well conditioned, work on my ongoing skill development, and pretty much, through a blessing in disguise. Like my one of my old teammates, LaRon Moss, he ended up making me a highlight tape of my high school tape. My son at the App State. App State offered me off for watching like 2 plays. Jerry Moore, took, heed to my talent from day one and seeing how I can fit, what I'm saying, into their puzzle space, you know what I'm saying? So for the most part, that's what I took from that. Now, as far as going undrafted, it just was kind of, you doing more gasoline on the fire. It just made me push like that much harder because I felt like I deserved to be drafted, right? My numbers, like men lie, women lie, numbers don't lie, right? But obviously, when you understand the business, like people get overlooked, but it's about what you do, man, when you encounter those difficulties, bro. Like a lot of people, like when they don't get drafted, it takes the air out of them, right? You talk to certain family members, say, man, oh man, I wish you was drafted, man, but a lot of times the cats that get drafted don't even make the squad. And the league is all about making the team.
Mm-hmm.
You're not in you're like, until you make the squad, that's when you classify yourself as an NFL player. You know what I'm saying? You got to make the squad, and they're gonna take you through hell in a cell to make the squad. Now, if you're an undrafted free agent, you don't have that many opportunities as a first round, second round, third round guy. But at the same time, you're in the same playing field. Like, just put your body of work out there and make sure you put in the work day in, day out. And even when the eye in the sky don't lie. So if you putting in the work, like, he'll put you in the right places you need to be in. Like, you shortcut the game will shortcut you. When you be true to the game, like, great things will be thrown upon you.
Yeah, so obviously you got the opportunity to play with the Saints for 2 years at the beginning of your career. And what was that like when Sean Payton called you and the rest of the coaching staff and the front office gave you the chance to come in to training camp and train with the Saints, and obviously made the team, and you got to play with players like the future Hall of Famer Drew Brees. Obviously, you mentioned Darren Sproles, Marcus Colson, Lance Moore. I can go down the list. Mark Ingram. What was it like playing for the city of New Orleans, and after what they've been through 3 years ago at that time with Hurricane Katrina? So what was that like for you, just to go play with the Saints beginning of your career?
It was, man, to be honest, it was a dream come true. I mean, how I got there was pretty much through, obviously, free agency, but at the Battle of Florida All-Star game, one of the scouts called me out of my room at 1:30 a.m. in the morning. And I want to say that pretty much I had met with, a couple of scouts throughout that day, but it seems like this one interview kind of stuck out because they like my skill set. I seen the type of offense they was running, like with Sproles, having Reggie Bush and being creative in certain ways. Because I've had scouts tell me like, hey, you need to pick one position of what you're gonna play, and you need to stick to that. And I had scouts that say, hey man, listen, you just be open. Like, it's a place, it's a place for you in this league. But obviously at that particular point in time, you don't know what team and what city or what state you're gonna go through. But it's crazy. When I seen the 504 number calling, I was like, wow, I'm going back to a familiar territory, because I went to junior college an hour from, an hour from New Orleans in Poplarville, Mississippi. So when I got there, man, like, when I went back, when I didn't get drafted, I was actually in Cincinnati with my agent. When I didn't get drafted, I went back to school and I trained with Chip Smith in Atlanta for my combine training. But when I got back to App State, Kareem Young, like it's like a big brother to me. And also I met guys like Dane Wilcox, who's one of my mentors. When we got back to App State, like we was pedal to the metal. Like it was no way that we was gonna be denied, you know what I'm saying? Entering the NFL facility, I felt like I was, I was ready. It was painful training days, but they're necessary.
Yeah.
When I got to New Orleans, obviously I didn't know what to expect. People saying the NFL is way faster, they're bigger, they're faster, they're stronger. You know what I'm saying? So it just pushing you, it's making you go harder in your training, like because you really don't know what to expect, but you want to be at your ultimate best, right? So when I seen guys like Drew Brees, like Sproles, like Colston, I see like they day to day and how they had accomplished so much before I even got there, and I seen their focus, their you know attention to specific details, and them being able to build their own schedule and see their routines and how I can implement something from what they're doing into my own. You know what I mean? And then like seeing Drew Brees, who's like an obsessive, in terms of the way he attacks the game. But for the most part, like from day one, it was like open arms. They didn't shy away from telling me the truth and what I needed to work on. And then my coach, Brett Ingles, like I was a rookie. He was in my ear every single day. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, a lot of times he was negative, but he was just trying to get the best up out of me. You know what I'm saying? To push me to understand that this is a business and they're going to make the best decisions like for the team moving forward. This is not like the midst of high school or like where it's kind of still fun. It's fun in a way, but the business aspect gets in the way and it kind of like change you emotionally, but it just heightens your awareness even more. You know what I mean? So, but seeing those guys like Mark, seeing Chris Ivory, like guys like Jimmy Graham, like just certain guys that I end up getting close with, like, and then understanding like the game and how it works and how every single day they're grading you. You know what I'm saying? Good or bad, hurt or not hurt. Like they're grading you every single day you come in that building. So you got to be at your ultimate best. It teach you how to, because Custom Model, the great trainer who was with Mike Tyson, he said a professional is somebody who could perform at a high level no matter what they're going through. Like Teddy Atlas say, a doctor isn't a doctor until he's on he's on the operating table and something goes wrong with that surgery and he have to make adjustments. So you constantly making an adjustment, constantly telling your game, but constantly having an open mind to get better every day.
Yeah. So speaking of, so obviously when you play with the Saints, and there was this one play, you had a 45-yard run, but it got called back because Marcus Colston got called for a holding. And did you get on him for that one, or what was that? What was your reaction to that when he got called?
Nah, I think it was a bad call actually, but Colston real calm dude. He was like, man, TC, that was pretty much a bad call, but I mean, he made a lot of other great blocks for me that propelled me in my career. But at that particular time, we had so many dogs on offense. Like we had like superior talent. We had Jimmy Graham. We had 5 backs. Me, Pierre, Sproles, Mark, and Chris Ivory. Like we had Ben Watson, and then Kenny Stills came. So we had Lance Moore, Marcus Colston, Kenny Stills. We had Joe Morgan. We had so many different things. So you really never knew when you were going to touch the ball, right? Yeah. Then we had Drew Brees. So we had a lot of weapons. I actually think we probably stayed together probably a little bit too long.
Yeah.
But not because it's only one ball, you know what I mean? And, you get your opportunities here and there, but for the most part, we had a pretty good team. And we had a great coaching staff, you know what I mean? We had dealt with a lot, coming off that year of the bounty and different things like that coming into my rookie year. But for the most part, man, like it's an experience and it's something that will last and stay with me forever for sure.
Hey, but it's a good problem to have because it's really important, especially in the NFL, to have a lot of depth because a lot of injuries could happen. And to have 5 running backs, that's a great luxury to have. And obviously those running backs you just named, really talented too. And but for you though, what was it like experiencing different teams throughout your, okay.
Say it again.
Yeah, sorry. So what was it like experiencing different teams throughout your career, Obviously Patriots, 49ers, second stint with the Saints, Jets, Bills, and Panthers. But you guys have played with Tom Brady in New England, but what was it like? What was it like just to experience different teams? And you played with three teams in the AFC East. So, but what was it like learning different personalities on different teams like that throughout your career?
I mean, every locker room is different. Every locker room is different. Like you know, and the goals are different too. You know what I mean? Going from like Coach Payton, Joe Vitt, a hard nose in New Orleans,
Bill Belichick. Yeah.
to Bill Belichick, who was pretty much him and Coach Payton come from the same cloth of
Yeah.
Bill Parcells, right? So that same hard nosed way of practicing, that same hard nosed paying attention to detail, and also playing with another great leader or whatnot, and Tom Brady. Now my stint in New England wasn't so long, right? So like I met me and Brady are real cool. I know his attention to detail and his obsessiveness and whatnot, even though I spent more time with Drew in terms of getting to know him more as a person, different things like that. But like it wasn't too much of a difference, I would say, in New England. The
Mm-hmm.
only thing I would say that was different is that Belichick is like a father. Put like this, he's someone who's super detailed, right? In terms of like, he's like a father that like you'd be like, yo, like stop talking. Like, but he hits every bit of your personal life to what you're going on the field. Like he was the first person I ever heard as a coach that say, you can do all this work, you know what I'm saying, that you want to do. If it's not transferring over to the field, then you need to change it. Like
Right.
it's not like it's about having like doing quality work, not just doing quantity, just doing things, but trying to get the best out of whatever you're doing. So like our team meetings would be very long. We had low light tapes where he called players out in front of the team, like, you know, making sure people and players know that you're at your absolute your best is required every single day. Like he called Tom Brady out like in front of the team. Like, yo, like if he had bad practices, he would call him out. So that was awakening for us all, you know, in the battle, you know what I mean? So in New Orleans, Coach Payton wouldn't call players out in front of the team.
Right.
That was a you know, a difference, but he held you accountable though. Like he was Coach Payton is an offensive wizard, right? Bill Belichick is pretty much a defensive minded coach. But by both teams having great leaders, like every squad needs a great leader. Like you're in the Army, the Navy, like you need your general. You know what I'm saying? You got a strong general, you're pretty sure you have a strong team because they're gonna hold you accountable. Not only are they gonna try to bring the best out of you, but you're gonna see them trying to get the best out of themselves. Like you want somebody that's open-minded, somebody you can talk to. Drew was a cat I can always go and talk to and say, Drew, what you think about this? Like he was well-minded. He just was all about winning. You know what I'm saying? It's a lot of missed opportunities that we had, you know what I'm saying, with each other, whether it was on me, whether it's on him. But
Right.
for the most part, like going to San Francisco was kind of different. Our team was young. The atmosphere wasn't so good when I got there. Like the atmosphere they had when Kaepernick was there, Navarro Bowman,
Yeah.
Patrick Willis, it was a different atmosphere when I got there. So it wasn't the best of experience because, you know, you want to win in the league, you want to win. That's the main goal, right? And then I don't think the system at the time really fit my style of play. But, you know, it was another good organization. But in terms of just those level of dynamics that was in New Orleans and New England was different, you know, and San Francisco, like, you know, we were switching. There was a lot of different moving parts or whatnot. So, I mean, it was still an A1 organization, but at the time, I think they were more in like the developmental stages and trying to move different pieces because they had Patrick Willis retire, Smith
Yeah.
retire. You know, it was a lot of different things that was going on at that particular point in time. Now in Buffalo, um, Coach McDermott did a great job, a hell of a job, changing that atmosphere to a winning coach at number one. Like he held you accountable. He tested your knowledge on a day-to-day basis. Like far as game planning, I love this system. We had a pretty good quarterback there with my homie Tyrod Taylor.
Yeah.
And we had Shady McCoy, you know what I'm saying? Shout out to him, you know, on his
Just
retirement.
retired. Yep.
Yeah, yeah, great player, man. Great player, unique in his own way, like deadly. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? Very exciting to watch. And that atmosphere, I think, was a great one. I would say that Buffalo Bills atmosphere was one of my top, I would say. You know what I'm saying? In terms of, and also he, like, I'm not saying that in other places family wasn't important, but Coach McDermott wanted to get to know your family, your people. Like he wanted to get to know like you more as a person. He wanted to know your family story. Like he made us get up and tell, you know, how we grew up, what pushes us, what motivates us, you know what I'm saying? In terms of that. Now he's about winning now, but for the most part, from day one, like when I met him, you know, because I played against him when he was in Carolina as a D coordinator. And like, you know, if I don't break my leg, I deeply think I'll still probably be in Buffalo. Because I mean, that system, that style of play was pretty much, I think was perfect, like for me. But the coach himself and the atmosphere and how he changed the culture. As a coach, it's hard to change a culture. Like once a culture is damaged, and it's hard to rebuild. You know what I'm saying? It's hard to get everybody on the same page. Like it's like you could break one pencil, but you can't break 100. That's
Right.
unity. So if you have that unity and that camaraderie, then you can pretty much change the wells in the ocean. Like I think that McDermott did a hell of a job, you know what I'm saying? Pretty much with my time. And even now, look what he's doing now. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? So they were a game for before the Super Bowl last year, I believe. You know what I mean? Or close to it. But I think, you know, out of those, and the reason I picked those three places because those are the places I've actually outside of New Orleans. I was in New England, but pretty much Buffalo was a place where I actually had been there for a little bit, for a while. You know, almost 2 years. So
Hmm.
it was definitely a great experience.
Yeah, wow. So yeah, so now moving forward to your career now in this year. So what have you been working on lately? And obviously you're planning on returning and hopefully looking for another opportunity. So what have you been working on training wise to get ready just in case if that call comes? And have you been in contact with your agent, with any other teams, or has any teams called you, or have you been in contact with teams lately?
Yeah, we have a few teams have been calling. Not as much, you know what I'm saying, as we would want, but I mean here and there, like, you know, because I've been out of league for a year and a half since I've been up under a contract. Obviously, I rehabbed, I'm back 100%, you know what I'm saying? My head is clear. And but in the meantime, I've been doing other things in terms of like, you know, learning different businesses, different trades, different skill sets, but also making the game my focal point. I still watch film. I still train on a day-to-day basis. So, because the NFL is a crazy business, you know what I'm saying? You can be on the couch today and be on the field tomorrow. You know
Right.
what I mean? And they're gonna grade you if you're ready or not, or they're gonna go to the next guy. You know what I mean? And it's hard when you get out of the league. It's hard to get back in. You know what I'm saying? It's hard to get back in. So, but you gotta have people. You gotta have an agent, number one,
Yeah.
still believes in you, and you as a player, you gotta control what you can control. You know, far as stand ready. But for the most part, in the meantime, pretty much, you know, I'm still working on, like, you know, my power, my conditioning, you know, my route running, you know, hand-eye coordination. Me and my cousin, we pretty much work out on a day-to-day basis. So, but in the meantime, like, you know, while I was outside of the game, you know, I got into the app industry, you know, learning about apps, development of app. Also, you know, I trade currency on the markets, you know what I'm saying? I love, you know, trading and whatnot. And you know, far as that, you know, and spending more time with my family that I never really, you know, really had or whatnot. But if the call comes, and when the call do come, I definitely be ready for sure, for sure. Like, I mean, I have workout tapes and different things like that to show that I'm ready. So I mean, we'll just go from there.
Hey, you deserve another opportunity for sure. And obviously, not only that, you also coached. You helped coach the youth too. So what's that been like for you, helping out the younger players get better and get to where they want to be?
I think it's big. I mean, knowledge is to be gained and passed along. So like, as far as that goes, doing community work, live above the hype is something that my homie K Ron and out in Los Angeles, it's a curriculum where it focuses on childhood trauma
Hmm.
or whatnot, and it focuses on like the root cause and not just the ending phase of why this child or this person has developed to become this. Like he tries to catch it young. Like what's the root cause of it? Like before it was a root. It had a root that grew, and then it had leaves that grew on it to develop these bad traditions. You know what I'm saying? So we trying to catch pretty much the trauma early, so we can use therapy and use knowledge and the power that we have to be able to help these kids, because they are the future, right? Like they are the future. They are the examples that a lot of people are gonna look at. Now, as far as that, like I do camps, you know what I'm saying, for the kids in Miami. I've done camps in New Orleans. I've donated, money to book drives
Oh,
with
wow.
Athletes for Charity, and in New York with Kathleen. I've donated scholarships in Haiti. You know what I mean? I've went and talked at different schools or whatnot, and really, try to be supportive and can do more, right? Can do more. It's been these last 2 years been crazy, like with the coronavirus and different things changing, life changing before our eyes. So like I'm real big on giving back, and not just giving back just in that aspect, but also I want to teach kids like how to trade, how they can be their own boss, how they can control their own fate while going after their goals, because like the markets is a powerful, powerful, powerful skill set. Everything we do in life is connected to these markets. You know what I mean? So for me, I think that opening your portfolio and maximizing it, and not just being like traditionalized on just go to school, get your education, but understand where the values really lie in life. You know what I'm saying? Like, sometimes, college degrees, they don't carry as much weight as it usually do. It's an entrepreneurial world now. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
a lot of people coming up, you got to think for yourself. You know what I'm saying? More than you've ever had to think. You know what I mean? So I think more so just broadening their knowledge and their base, and understand and not shying away from you, stopping them from learning knowledge and understanding that, like, your mental capacity. You watching motivational videos, you learning how to meditate, you learning how to say affirmations and write them down, and writing your goals down, and understanding, because a lot of people out here, a lot of parents, they think it's just so physical, right? I think the way you can control your emotions, how you can operate under pressure, how you can make your adjustments throughout life is going to be that key component that propel you to success way faster than you going into failure. And not because we all fail, but it's about
Yeah.
what you do, not a failure until you quit. You know what I'm saying? Really, our most painfulest moments in our lives are used to be teachers, like to draw hints and different things like that, so you can prepare and be prepared for that next obstacle, because you never know when it comes. Life hits you at different times, you know what I mean? And like, it's kind of like Coach Payton used to say that, one day all of our train stops are going to be in different cities at different states.
Right.
Like he might play 2 years, he may play 14 years, she may play 17. We all got to make our adjustments along the way when it comes. I had no clue I was gonna, go through what I went through in Buffalo, breaking my leg, et cetera, et cetera. It was just something that was thrown upon me, and I had to react to it. But we all go through our trials and our tribulations in life, but it's all about the knowledge you gain, you know what I'm saying, before it happens, so you can have the power and the tools to be able to overcome whatever you're going through.
Hmm. Yeah, so that's amazing what you guys are doing with the youth, and obviously really important. It's all about the youth now, and it's great. It's amazing what you guys are doing. And for you, this is a two-part question, and the first part, I'm a big Dallas Cowboy fan, and obviously we have Zeke and Tony Pollard, and we wouldn't mind having you on the team either. So if Jerry Jones, if you're listening, go please call Travaris Cadet. He's available, ready, 100% ready to go. We wouldn't mind having a third running back on the team. And man, what would it be like if you got the opportunity to play for Dallas Cowboys and playing for that in that stadium and Jerry Jones?
America's #1 team is. I think it'd be a great opportunity. You know what? I thought about that one time. You know, just being able to go out there and show my talents. You know, Jerry Jones he's one of the more hands-on owners, I would say.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? In terms of just looking at his past and his players and how he take care of his players. Obviously, it's a business first, but I think my unique skill fit well in that offense. Zeke is a pretty good runner, you know what I'm saying? But I feel like my route running, the mismatches I can bring to the table can really, help Dak out a whole lot. And not taking nothing from Zeke, but having another weapon. Every team in the NFL at some point in time is going to need that hybrid, that unique weapon that can go out there and exploit and attack defenses from different angles. You know what I'm saying? Whether that be on offense or whether you on defense, if you're a hybrid, you can play linebacker, you can cover a tight end or a corner or a running back of my caliber. I think being versatile, having a versatile tool on offense it makes like the quarterback's job a whole lot easier, and it gives the team more firepower. So I definitely take that opportunity for sure in a heartbeat.
Yeah, I'm hoping. Hopefully, I'll put in the word there for you. Hopefully, it happens.
No doubt, man.
And the next part to this question, and obviously, what's it like? Obviously, you've been watching the NFL season. So what do you like about today's running backs and slash wide receivers? What do you like about today's game? And what's your reaction so far for this season too?
Man, I mean, it's a lot of good teams, man. I gotta say, man, my boy Alvin Kamara is something serious. You know what I mean? The stuff that he can do, like him, Christian McCaffrey, pretty much guys like that. Like you could really see the game, them really changing the game. You know what I'm saying? With their bare arms, like because they bring so much value, but I think, right now in Tampa with Tom Brady still being available, the guy is just like relentless at his own approach. Like I said, I didn't have a long time with him in New England, but I remember I watched him run like 50 shuttles. He was trying to break, a certain time. And he just kept running and kept running and kept running and kept running until he ran his time. And, running shuttles isn't, real big for a quarterback, right? But just having that will to win, like that will to win. And I think what he do better than any other quarterback that played is he make his adjustments. You never know when his foot is always on the gas pedal, you know what I'm saying? And he step up, you know what I'm saying, when it's time to step up, and it's a lot of really, really good teams. I'm rooting for Jameis Winston, you know what I'm saying, in New Orleans with the Saints. Obviously, Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs, you got to always give them, you know what I'm saying, a good nod. But Baltimore, I'm rooting for Lamar Jackson. I like what he's doing. You know what I'm saying? He's become more of a prolific passer.
How about you guy Tyrod Taylor doing big things in Houston there right now?
Oh, without a doubt, man. Yeah. Without a doubt. He's handling business too, man. I always was a fan of Tyrod, man. Always, man. Like always, man. Like he's an incredible leader, you know what I'm saying? Incredible person. He's over there with my big dog, Mark Ingram. So, you know what I mean? And Coach Cully, man. Coach Cully, come get me. But yeah, man, it's a lot of talent, man. It's a lot of talent out there, man. It's a lot of talent, man. I like Dak Prescott look pretty darn good this year, you know what I mean, in terms of what he's doing. It's a lot of good teams, man. It's talent, man, everywhere. It's talent everywhere, man. So even like with Matthew Stafford, out there with the Rams, he's blowing it up. You know, It's a lot of different things, man. A lot of different things. A lot of different teams, like a lot of different unique skill sets. Justin Fields out in
Mhm.
Chicago. I mean, it's the league is changing, and
Yeah.
Kyler Murray is killing it out there in Arizona.
Cardinals 4-0, crazy team.
I know we would have never predicted that, but this is the NFL. It's the
Yeah.
NFL, man. So, like for the most part, man, it's a lot of damage done out there, and a lot of excitement, and a lot of unique skill sets that's being brought to the table.
Yeah, speaking of the Rams tonight, Rams Seahawks tonight. That's gonna be a good game. I can't wait for that one in Seattle. So that's gonna be a tough game for the Rams. But before we get to the last few things, I just want to ask you, what would you say your best moment so far in your career?
Um, I would say my time. I would say my time but I've had highlights here and there, but I would say my time in Buffalo because when I was in Buffalo was no limitations in terms of me running the ball. Like I wasn't in a specific role. You know what I'm saying? They trusted me enough to me to run the ball. Obviously, they knew I made a living catching the ball. But I think during that time, it was more so like, the handcuffs was off versus me being in New Orleans, which was a great place. I was more in the Pacific role. So defenses can really make a prediction on.
Uh-oh. Technical difficulty. Sorry about that. Huh. All right. But like I said before, everyone tune in tonight. Rams Seahawks Thursday night football in Seattle. That's gonna be a tough game. Rams coming off a loss, and then the Seattle Seahawks coming off a win. So that's gonna be a great game. I feel like obviously a division game, and it's gonna be a closed game. So we're looking forward to that tonight. Everybody tune into that game. And sorry for the technical difficulties here. Something happened.
Yeah, apologies, man.
Oh no, you're good.
Yeah, my computer turned off. Now, what you were saying now?
Yeah. So I think. It was your best moment so far in your career.
Oh yeah, okay. That's what I was saying. So in New Orleans pretty much kind of suited me in a way in terms of helping me learn the player I was going to be in the league, right? In terms as far as my versatility. But in New Orleans, the difference between like with me and Alvin is not a prediction on when he comes on the field, what play is going to be called, right? He runs the ball. I mean, he catches, he exploit different matchups, which I'm thankful for New Orleans. And like, Coach Payton did, him and Pete Carmichael did the best they could possibly could far as finding a role for me. But it was pretty much a prediction of what the play call was going to be, like when I came on the field. So I would say my best time was more so, New Orleans shaped me, but when I got to Buffalo, they throw me in the seat. Like I ran the ball, caught the ball,
Yeah.
picked the misses, you know what I'm saying? They put me in the slot, different things like to be able to exploit different matchups. So it wasn't so much a prediction when I came in the game. So like I said, Buffalo, I would say was like, it was more of a sprint there, right? Because I mean, when I got there, we were rolling like from day one, and they put me in, and kind of like when I talked to Coach McDermott, when I first got there, I was just like, just let me be a ball player. Let me go out there and let me show you what I can do. You know what I'm saying? In the run game. You know what I'm saying? Obviously, they brought me in for the pass game, but to be able to, because those guys on the other side of the ball, they professionals too.
Yeah.
They world class too. You know what I mean? We're not the only world class people on the field. So I think from that standpoint, like my abilities to be able to show I can run the ball and as well as catch, and special teams being able to return and cover kicks and different things like that. I think it allowed me to show my value, more than what I showed when I was in New Orleans. It ended up coming, to an extent of getting hurt, but for the most part, I would say. And then, I think me and Shady kind of fit well, what I'm saying, in terms of, I think it was me, Shady, and Mike Tolbert at the time or whatnot. And I think we all, meshed well together and all that. And, Coach McDermott and Coach Dennis, they did a great job of implementing me in the offense. But I think like that whole atmosphere, the only thing I just couldn't stand about Buffalo was the weather, man. It was super cold all the time. It was super cold. But it's trust me, the people that's in Buffalo, like it's not a miserable place. Not when you step in that facility. You know what I'm saying? Like they got a great training staff. Just like in New Orleans, there's people in New Orleans I love, like Bum, Lish, like, all the people that's there, Coach Payton, Charles, all them boys, man. Like my cousin Teron Armstead, he still plays over there. Like I still got, cats on that team that I love and care about. You know what I'm saying? New Orleans always would be like my second home or whatnot. Yeah, Buffalo was a great place, but you know what I'm saying? New Orleans will always carry a special place in my heart. Like I was pretty much developing into a man when I got there. But in life, you got to take the good with the bad, right? I mean, it wasn't all good days, but it wasn't all bad days either. You know what I'm saying? So I'm super thankful. I'm thankful for the men who I built relationship with, the women I built relationships with there. Even that city. I got people out there I love, like John Bushalaki, Ronald Weaver, like people like shout out my dog Weaver. He was a 2-time boxing champion.
Wow.
Or whatnot. And it's a lot of people who I met out there that I will always be a part of my life. So, New Orleans is always my second home. But Buffalo was definitely, as a player, I would say that was more so the more comfort. I was more comfortable in that system.
Yeah, so the last few things here, our team is part of this foundation. It's called the Hugh Jackson Foundation. He's a former NFL coach. He's now the offensive coordinator at Tennessee State with Eddie George, and we're trying to help him prevent human trafficking, making sure the community stays safe and the kids stay safe. So we'll send you the foundation so you can go check it out.
All right, no doubt, man. Shout out to Hugh, man. Some good stuff.
And the last thing here, what do you like to say? Anything to all the nurses, doctors, and all the essential workers right now?
Oh yes, I want to say I appreciate you guys for putting y'all life on the line for us out here in this traumatic time. Like this virus has, heightened our awareness, for like through us all. Like you're young, old, big, small, tall, but to all essential workers, man, we definitely appreciate your help. We appreciate your knowledge. We appreciate your power. Some of you guys are losing your lives, like for us, for our safety and trying to prevent and trying to make this world a better place. You know what I'm saying? And they say live for nothing or die for something. And you guys are showing us like the true definition of sacrifice and trying to bring, everybody together. And I think that, this pandemic, yes, it's been tough. Yes, it's been rough. Yes, it's been tears. Yes, we've dealt with deaths and uncertainty in our families and us not being able to go around people who we love. You know what I'm saying? Like my grandmother, like, certain family members we all have that we don't want to go around because we don't want, because we can be carrying this virus, but we don't know, like, because we're young, we're strong or whatnot. And I think it just heightened everybody awareness to take care of yourself, watch what you eat, and watch how you treat your body. Treat your body like a car, like get the oil changes, get some fitness, get a routine. try to, expand your knowledge in terms of, what's best for your body, what's not. Get a full allergy test to see what your body's rejecting and what your body wants to keep in. But for all the workers on the front line, man, I can't say it enough. I can't say it enough, man, how much, I appreciate it. And, I know at nighttime, you go to bed and you don't know if you have this thing, from helping so many people and trying to make this world a better place, you know what I'm saying? But I know there's a God who look above us all. I know he see all the work and all the sacrifices, but in life, I think it's more so about like it's pretty much that wave that came over the United States. Like September 11th was terrible, right? It was bad. It was a bad time. And you from Jersey, like, it was a bad time for the United States. But it's some people that walked out their houses the next day and their lives didn't change, right?
Yeah.
But with the coronavirus, when this thing hit, if you lived in California, if you lived in Miami, if you lived in New York, if you lived in Minnesota, if you lived in Milwaukee, if you lived in Georgia, if you lived in Tennessee, it affected you because it hit home that, hey, let me heighten your awareness a little bit, you know what I'm saying? Because obviously we know the negatives, right? And life is so easy to pull out the negatives, bro. It's like trading, right? You can trade and have, 6 months of profits, and you can have that all wiped out in 2 days with bad decisions. You know what I'm saying? So with this life that we live, we got to try to find a way to pull out positives when it seems to be just straight negative, right? When it seems to be straight negative, you know what I'm saying? I think I was reading a story the other day or whatnot, and I think it was about Joe Biden, right? I believe he lost, if I'm not mistaken, he lost his family. I think his wife when his kids died in a car accident or something like
I
that.
think it's yeah. Oh, I'm not. I think Bo Biden. I think I'm not sure.
Yeah, I think it's Joe Biden. I think one of them I was reading upon, and I believe one of his friends or his mother asked him, like, which is kind of crazy, but what's done is done. You know what I'm saying? Obviously, this is probably not the best thing to ask someone. Like, what she asked him, like, if you can dig deep, she was like, find something positive out of this. Like, what is that? What is it to find positive out of, your kids, your wife, like these people dying, right? What is it to find positive about it? But if you scratch your mind deep enough, it is. In every situation, it is, right? It's kind of like the wildebeest, like when you're in Africa and you see this wildebeest getting killed by 9 lions, right? And we're feeling sorry for this wildebeest, but life is fit for what's best for the whole world and not just the individual. Like that's just how life is. Like it's not suited for, oh, this happened to you or this happened to me. It's suited for what's going to keep the earth moving clockwise. And sometimes it's not, we don't view it as something positive. And that's just life. We got to take life, like Mike Tyson said, we got to deal with life on its terms. It doesn't happen on our terms. You know what I'm saying? And the more and more you live on this earth, the more mature you become, the more you learn.
Yeah, well said. And there it is. That wraps up episode 917 with free agent running back, wide receiver Travaris Cadet. Go check his stuff out. Go follow him on all social media formats. And he's looking for another opportunity in the league. So whoever's looking for a wide receiver, running back, contact his agent. I just want to say thank you for joining the show. It was truly an honor. Big shout out to your PR person for setting this up again. And we would like to have you back on the show at some point down the line so you can meet the full team. But keep up the great work. Hopefully you get another opportunity in the league and you deserve one. And just keep it up, man. And thank you again.
All right, appreciate it, man. Thanks for having me, man. Y'all be safe.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you. Be safe too.
Yes, sir.